Yeah, it's going to be difficult to make the dives happen. You still, of course, have to survive the lane phase, just the trading 2v2s as well.
Rumble!
Rumble! Hey-oh!
All right.
Armut reaching deeper into that champion pool right now.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't seen this one in a minute, but again, we talked about this a lot. B1 Aatrox has been extremely popular all tournament long, and teams have just been trying to find different counter picks. This is yet another unique one against Aatrox.
It's funny with Rumble because ever since we had to join, he was one of the few that was actually being... Of course, at durability patch, a lot of the champions got nerfed in terms of the shielding and everything they provided. Rumble was one of the only champions that did not see a nerf to his shield as well coming through with the W. So his resistance actually only got up, and then the shield was still in a fine position.
Yep, so we will have to see if that will be a matchup that gets flipped around at all. I'm most interested in the mid lane. Jojopyun played the Sylas side of the Viktor-Sylas matchup into upset, got Chovy-gapped, as they decided to call it. Now taking this to play into Nisqy. There's a little bit of history there as well, with Nisqy playing his first champion SKU game into Jojopyun's a colleague, getting solo killed multiple times. There's just so many little things in this series.
And I'm actually super excited to see Jojo perform on the Viktor because he's been a super stellar team fighter on a lot of champions that has agency and playmaking potential. But when I was watching his games back on the Viktor specifically, there's a lot of team fights where he still died due to wrong positioning or flash still being up and available, where he sometimes seemed a little uncomfortable on that specific pick. So going up against a matchup where you get a more free laning phase where you have the possibility to punish it, I just want to hone in on your point and really say that I'm excited to see how far he can take the matchup.
Well, remaking the lobby, so just gotta get that back in position. We'll be into the game as soon as possible. Picks will be the same, of course, so don't worry too much about that. But unfortunately, we are getting baited. A minor delay to kick off game one of this festival.
You knew we'd have to have at least one. Evil, however they do the pauses built into the evil genius's name. Vulcan hitting them early. Oops, lobby bug.
Well, we can't have a Worlds without this on our screen. It is just tradition at this point, and hopefully moving forward, we won't have too much of it. I feel like we've gotten less delays, but it's EG. You can't avoid it.
And to be fair to production, this was definitely a client bug. I was in the game, and somehow I didn't get into champ select, and like there was just a couple little hiccups on maybe the observers couldn't get in either.
In a spy in the client, Mark C.
You can see it too. You're like...
Yeah, but the viewers don't know that. Well, until now, at least.
Don't you have a Tournament Realm account too? You could log in.
I'm too lazy for it.
All right, so obviously mid lane, very aggressive in terms of Jojopyun wanting to get the shove in that matchup, keep Nisqy underneath his turret. Bot lane, we talked about the Draven wanting to snowball ahead. And then Armut versus Impact is, I think, the X factor for me, given that we have not seen Rumble yet at Worlds. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yes, that's...
Armut has not played it in summer thus far. And I'm looking at his career stats all time. We'll see how many games he has on it. Somewhere. There it is.
Wow, a top lane with Rumble games. What a
3 Rumble games.
Not that many.
But what does the win rate say?
100%, baby!
That's all I'm looking for. 100% win rate on the Rumble career-wise for not Impact, for Armut. 3 games played total. We don't count. We only look at percentage. Stats don't lie. I'm feeling good.
Armut should as well. Definitely curious to see how that matchup plays out. In general, I was expecting top side to be the focal point of the matchup. So the Draven being thrown in early here by Mad Lions is interesting because, to your point, Elyoya will have to divert resources most likely to that side of the map at some point, even though that's not the style that kind of brought them here.
Yeah, and I mean, it is still fine for Mad Lions to play with a Rumble. It's not, per se, a lane you have to play for or anything. Like, you can always just throw an equalizer down, and then you just get rid of the carbon, and then you don't really have to be worrying about playing weak side. Kind of like GP, how he utilizes the Cannon Barrage every now and then in lane. You don't have to play for it.
Yeah, and you can play it just for bully, too. If you assume that your bot lane's winning, the enemy jungler, like Inspire's going to have to go down to the cover bot crashes and stuff like that. That just gives Rumble time to bully the matchup individually. In Masters plus solo queue, 56% win rate in 292 games. So obviously a Rumble favored matchup. It's going to be about if Impact can survive it. He is known for playing weak side and surviving difficult matchups and still being relevant later on. He's probably going to have to tap into that skill set in game 1.
And it's important as well for a matchup in the top lane, because I feel like if you take a look at, in terms of strength, of both teams, at least from Mad Lions, right? Bot lane has been a bit of a weakness, but also top lane, even in the matchup yesterday, Armut got solo killed quite a bit. So if you finally get the upper hand against Impact going into this series, that's already a super good sign for that end. And then vice versa on the opposite side of the coin, as Impact on the Aatrox. And if you can get yourself going and just further hammer down a weak point up here, there's a way for your team to rally around.
Yeah, well, looks like we might be getting into things. Coaches have shaken hands. Mac has done the ceremonial gift giving of the tie to the enemy coach. Last time a member of someone we saw GB on stage receive an item of clothing, I believe it was a Saigon Buffalo jersey, to Mac. I'd like to remind you that game did not go quite so well.
So you have to give ties to it. If you give shirts, clothes, bomber jacket, whatever it was, that's apparently a loss. But finally into the game between the first series between EU and NA since 2019. And of course, I want to remind you guys that back then it was EU that took it, but NA on course for this year to try and get back at those smug EU bastards.
I'm glad you said it,
not
me.
I can say it. God, I hate us.
Those delusional NA fans who think that they have any chance. Europe has won the only 2 best-of-5. It was a 3-0 in 2018, Fnatic slamming C9 in the semifinals. It was a 3-0, and at the time, the fastest finals of all time in MSI finals, where G2 slammed Team Liquid. And that NA hasn't even won a game in a best-of-5 versus EU. What chance do they have?
Gotta start with step one. Maybe Jojo and friends will win a game against EU this year. We'll have to see.
Potential late invade could come through. This is something Mad Lions has done quite a bit, but if they start sweeper as well as they come through here, can try and force the opponent away and just split the map in a position where you don't get to play for the Draven lane. So far, no junglers around, and Inspired may just have to walk back, seeing there's no Vi around.
Yeah, you have Vi starting on the top side of the map, trying to get the clear top to bot, like we said, wanting to put attention down the bot side of the map. I wonder if EG were trying to get a split map situation, hoping to find the Vi on the buff, and then shove her out of her side of the jungle, and then you get to isolate the bot lane, and they can't play as aggressively as they want. The fact that they didn't find the Vi and didn't want to have an extended sequence of just having the Draven poke you on your buff, I think they sacked that trade.
Already in goes Kaiser, cleansed up by Unforgiven. Could be trouble here for Kaori. Already the Draven damage stacking up, but Vulcan with the counterplay, E goes over, and now there's a flash force.
And they continue with it, and that's one of the things you have to take into account when you're playing against Kenc. His base damage, level 1, is so high. Remember, back in the day, when you leveled up his ultimate, that's when you got the extra HP damage from your basic attacks and Q. That was made into his passive. So level 1, if you leave him alone and just hit you up, you're going to take a lot of damage.
Double sums forced out of Unforgiven will remove some of that aggressive playmaking. Kaiser still has his, and it is the summoner down on Vulcan. No exhaust available, but still coming out ahead for EG in that level 1 trade feels very good for stopping some of this aggression. Also warded out Elyoya's path. No camps down the bot side as Inspired is just on his bot clear, now moving into the river as well.
Gonna get spotted though. We'll see if he can make something happen, but I guess just backing off soon as he sees what's going on. Also, to your point, knows Elyoya is there, so doesn't really want to commit to this early 3v3.
Well, it's very interesting just looking at the map. Go in here, cleanse forced out.
Being displayed again, but this time they get a summoner out of the deal.
Not bad. Creates another point of attack. The problem that EG are currently facing is that at some point in time, Inspired has to walk up towards the top side. He needs to clear his camps up here, while Elyoya has the benefit that since he started top and is passing down towards the bot side, he can try and get aggressive down.
Oh god, you can just see...
Oh, Nisqy! Looking like a solo, not going to be able to grab it, but Jojo was trying to bully, was doing well, but Nisqy hit in level 4, taking over in that trade.
Oh god, EU mid laners beating Jojo on both sides of this matchup right now. Didn't force any sums. Nisqy might have tried to go for a flash auto, but did not go for it.
And look at what this does to the rest of the map. Inspired was pathing up towards the top side to try and stabilize his mid laner now. He walked down again on the bot side, and he's still not cleared a single camp on that top side.
Yeah, he's fallen so far behind Elyoya, already multiple camps down. Finally getting up to his top side here and will start catching up. I did think that he was going to have an easier time clearing up to the top side because it looked like Jojo had to shove in that matchup for the first couple levels, but once Sylas gets his full combo unlocked, starts going for those trades.
I know I saw a lot of Twitter of this first buy coming through, and I'm sure I'll see a lot of it again. Oblivion on first item coming through from Jojo there on the Viktor as well to try and get rid of some of that Sylas healing. Would be fun to track that over the course of 12 to see
I'll keep you updated. Shakarez on Twitter is always the man to follow for in-game information. whether that be banter between players, which surprisingly only Good Luck have funds this series. I feel like for these teams, these players, it's a little surprising, kind of speaks to the stakes of this matchup that neither of them are trash talking. There was a little bit on Twitter beforehand.
I'm sure it'll change over the series. Getting that mental edge, of course, is always very
Once
important.
you have the 1-0, then you unlock your trash talking.
Exactly.
Trait.
No one's really sure what they want to do at this point in time, but once you get that first game, surely.
All right, we'll see how it all shakes out. Trash talk and all. Dragon coming up at the 5-minute mark will be Infernal to kick us off as Jojo is back. Hopefully here in this mid lane. Did have to burn his teleport though, but Nisqy did trade his away. Impact also been doing quite well in his matchup as bottom side. Big damage onto Unforgiven, but the waves have been pushed in the right direction for the Mad Lions.
And the more I've seen Varus at the tournament, the more I actually like it. He has really good trading pattern into a lot of these champions. Just quick 3 autos, proc your passive, and then get an ability ahead to win the trades, then back off. Works really well, especially when you're competitive with a Tahm Kench when you're playing into these aggressive other supports like the Leona.
Yeah, even didn't go what I would think was the stronger laning matchup in terms of rune choices. If you were going to go Hail of Blaze or something, grab Taste of the Blood, try and sustain up through the lane phase, goes Lethal Tempo, which is more speaking to the on-hit Varus build that we saw, I believe, yesterday as well.
Smite available for Elyoya trying to get in.
Ooh!
Inspired does get it, so he defends his own jungle. Bot lane of Mad Lions, they had the move, but Inspired, lone man in the jungle, still managed to secure up his own camps.
So we have Elyoya getting a little bit of an advantage in the jungle off of some bot pressure, I would say, more than anything. But actually a CS lead now for the bot lane of EG getting that shove. Draven's catching the wave right now, catching up a little bit, but a fairly good first phase through the lane phase for EG's bot lane, surviving this pressure. Surprisingly even thus far, a small gold advantage for the side of EG.
And I think what's really interesting is to take a look at how is Mad Lions actually going to enable this Draven. Because it's been path towards, it's been having some early skirmishes, but it haven't really seen the all-in aggression from just coming down and trying to blow all the summoner spells of a Vi, trying to go in or anything like that. And even when Elyoya does hit that level 6, if the window is not correct with you hitting it before Vulcan hits level 6, it's going to be really hard finding a point of attack.
Definitely looking at level 6 with the summoners coming back up for Unforgiven in a second here as when they want to start going. If they can now get the pressure with Nisqy, who has done a very good job in this lane, controlling the wave states for the most part outside the first couple levels, it will give him some roaming opportunities. This is what Nisqy made his name on. Why he is the LEC MVP is his ability to get on the map, either working with his jungler to accelerate him or just snowball side lanes.
Yeah, Sylas pretty good at that as well, so certainly looking for him to get out of the lane. Inspired though was called over to mid because Nisqy had the lane in such a good spot and Jojo was a little scared to step forward with Elyoya perhaps being nearby. However, it looks like that is going to be broken and Jojo is going to go ahead and return to mid lane. All happy as bottom side still trading. Once again, good poke there from Kaori.
Yeah, most certainly. Like, it just feels like EG is really good at finding their moments to come up and trade. You see it again and again. So despite Mad Lions being the team that had the push, now a little bit slow push backwards, they're still the one losing out on these trades.
Able to keep the wave mostly on their side of the turret as well. I mean, it's very hard for Kaiser to go in and then get chased all the way up the lane or something like that. I will also say the babysitter Inspired has done a good job for the Zoomer of Jojo, making sure he's safe at home in his lane.
Yeah, despite Inspired having to sacrifice camps, he is behind 1 level at the moment with just create a window where there is point of attack for Elyoya, but it won't really be used. And once Inspired starts clearing the, well, you can already see now, he just hit level 6, so it's a very small window. Now, having towards this 8-minute mark now, where Rift Herald has spawned on the map, seeing the rotations of the supports moving up to try and secure this objective is going to be interesting. Inspired already starting it up. You can see in the minimap, Kaiser has the first move, but the bot lane of EG is making that move up as now.
Yeah, EG is moving up. So far, Impact has done very good in this matchup. Up farm, has a Hex Drinker completed, giving him... Oh, we'll go mid.
Flash ulti mid, we're going to try and get the first blood onto Jojo. Nisqy lining it up, the Chaos Storm is down, and Elyoya's going to take him. A chain of corruption out of Kaori. He's going to try and find some counterplay, but I don't think there's much here. Damage is good, but no counter kill.
First blood comes through for Mad Lions, but what has happening on the top side, it's still EG securing the Rift Herald for themselves. So yes, gold does go over for the first kill. You do shut down Jojo a little bit here because he does not have the teleport yet to get back to lane, but you still have tempo in your kit now, having a Rift Herald to summon to have a play to make.
Evens the gold up for Mad Lions. Going to potentially get some turret plates onto the Draven as well. At least one here. We'll have to see if EG can get back to their turret relatively safely. They're coming back around. But like you said, Jojo didn't lose his flash for that play. Kind of dropped his gravity well on himself and said, all right, you're just going to kill me. I'll hold my sums here so you can't make that play again. EG want to punish in the bot side. Vulcan a little ahead of the play.
Exhaust still going to force the cleanse. Flash devour. Ulti was ready into the Maokai ult as well. Big alley-oop CC10, and Kaiser's barely gonna get hit by the end of that ult. Follow up with a twisted advance, Bramble smash back, make it 2 for EG's bottom lane.
That's right, make it 1, make it 2. EG strike back on the bottom side. Great ultimate from Inspired, but in the beginning, it's Vulcan that sets up that place, finding the dive on towards Unforgiven.
Vulcan is such an important member for EG. When he's on the Enchanters, you can hear the fans groan because they want to see plays like that. They get the kill on the Draven. He was at around 230 stacks when they got that kill, shutting down that snowball win con of Mad Lions.
Yeah, and just 30 seconds ago, we were talking about how Mad Lions had equalized the gold lead. Well, gentlemen, I beg you to take a look at the gold score once again, and EG in a little more than 1k gold lead after finding not only the Rift Tail, but also the 2 kills.
Taking a look at this initial kill onto Jojo. Flash ult just drops the grab. I feel like he could try and flash underneath his turret, but he would still be pretty much out of range of it. So very intelligent to not try and panic flash under your turret and still die. Just gives his life up. A nice enough trade by EG getting back puts Elyoya and Nisqy low enough that it's very easy for the top side of EG to finish off, grab that Rift Herald, and still make the rotation down the bot lane.
And in the end, you know, it just becomes an overextension from the side of Mad Lions bot lane. They try to stick around for too many plates, and they get punished immediately. So back on the map now, bot lanes have been rotated in towards the mid lanes. Mid laners down towards the bot side. Infernal Drake's still up and available, but no one really in a position where they want to start it up yet.
Yeah, again, we've seen a lot of late Drakes. I imagine that trend will continue. Kaori, though, the one with all the gold, barely shorting the ultimate onto Unforgiven, who did not have cleanse.
But did have flash,
yeah.
Yes. He knew that was not going to hit him. Nicely played by Unforgiven, just getting out with the Draven speed boost there. This is, I think, a beneficial situation for Mad Lions, having the bot laners sitting in mid lane, 2v2ing. Gives the Sylas the long lane to try and bully the Viktor if he's ever caught out of position. You can hop on top of him.
But in the end, what this game to me so far feels like is just very extended laning phase. We don't really see too many rotation in terms of, well, I know your red buff is spawning. Let me go in and get aggressive vision and try and invade on you. Right now, there is a possibility with the bot lane having to push in mid to get some deeper wards, but no trinket. Oh, there actually is wards from the side of Vulcan. He's just come back to get them. But there's no really aggressive moves being made. It's very just a lot of handshaking on the map at the moment.
Good trade. They're in the bottom side there for Jojo, trying to keep Nisqy at arm's length. Impact, though, the one in trouble spots. Kaiser, though, now going to have to play back. Elyoya has been here for quite a while trying to set up this lane gank, but Impact, always the weak side specialist, playing with the required safety.
Yeah, Impact has been farming away up here in the top side, having pressure in the lane. Hasn't gotten any turret plays, but been very safe, which has enabled Kaori to get these 2 kills. The substitute bot laner for Evil Geniuses coming in the middle of playoffs during that finals weekend. Went to 5 games versus 100 Thieves, couldn't take him down there, and had the month-and-a-half-ish of play now with the Evil Geniuses starting roster, and kind of got the eggs in the basket right now of him. Also have the Turkish rivalry, him and Armut as well. You know, there's just so much to talk about in this series.
Now, Drake has been spotted up. EG is in a position to contest. Inspired does have that ultimate available, but before they even get there, Drake is taking Jojo on the flank, but not in a position to engage.
Nisqy having to shove in bot lane gives an escape route for Mad Lions there. They can just hike down into the river. Jojopyun, not very safe, cutting it off himself, but that does mean EG gets mid-prio here. You can see Kaori shoving this wave as fast as he can. Should be able to get at least 1 to 2 more plates there.
Yeah, playing for plates, it looks like, on 2 different lanes here. I'm not going to work ahead on this top lane play. It should be 1 in mid at least there for EG. Vulcan is roaming up here. Doesn't really have anyone nearby just yet, but is setting up the potential play for Jojo. That plate's kind of looking juicy, a little bit of extra gold, but Armut actually backing away from it. Very nicely done.
Yeah, respecting the fact that something might happen. Nisqy on the bot side against Impact.
The ulti out of Elyoya. Could be problems there for Impact. Damage looking there, but Impact defends the dive. Can't turn it back around, but Inspired's here. Lets the ulti out, and that's going to force Mad Lions away. Ooh, gets a flash as well.
Once again, a little bit of an overextension, thinking they have the kill on Impact, but this is what happens when you go double AP solo laners. Hold up. Wait a minute. Nothing's happening.
Everyone holds their collective breath for no reason. Nicely kited out by Impact there. 2 for 1 in Summoner trade in favor of EG. Impact does have to flash underneath his turret, but Elyoya and Nisqy committed theirs. There's also an interesting teleport situation where Impact had teleported down towards the tail end of that Drake fight to grab that matchup against the Sylas while Viktor reset top lane. It looks like they want to have the Viktor matching the Rumble instead in the Hex Drinker for Jojopyun, or excuse me, Impact doing a better job into the Sylas.
Yeah, but it's also just the fact that Impact's so happy about the fact that he can build more later in this series, right? It's such a valuable item ever since it was changed to have a shield based on your AD in the game. And also just Jojo with that Crown of the Shattered Queen. It's so good when you're playing against Vi, it's so good when you're playing against dive composition, and so far, if he's not getting hit by the Equalizer, there's not really going to be anything proccing that shield.
Yeah, that was exactly where I was going with that. There's not that much range available for Mad Lions. It's very much an all-in composition.
Nisqy setting up, Vulcan setting up the play onto Nisqy. Stolen the Viktor ulti there, but Gravity Well not enough of a slow to set up the play. There is potential here for a dive, but the Chaos Storm used early by Nisqy smartly to clear this wave out nice and quickly.
And I just feel like with this game pace that's happening right now, EG feels so happy with it. Like, you have a control mage in the mid lane that's pretty much going to be impossible to get onto if he has his abilities available. And even if he does get CC'd, there's the Tahm Kenc, right? And then at the other time, Kaori's just going to be more happy reaching that late game. The worst part for this matchup was going up against a Draven in the laning phase. Nothing really happened after that laning phase. So far, EG feeling comfortable with the 1k gold lead they have for themselves.
Feeling comfortable. I was casting the DFM series yesterday, and I kept talking about scaling advantages and whatnot. Not always did the game go that way. So while EG, you can argue with the Viktor and whatnot.
I was watching that game with the other guys in our hotel room, and we came up with the thing that sometimes you cannot care about the turrets, the gold, the camps, the Drake. Sometimes all that matters is who actually won that fight.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what the series was like yesterday. I'm not sure if this series is going to shape up to be the same, but it's just an example of different kind of games of League of Legends.
It's only game one. We got time.
It's only game one. We'll see if Mad can find a foothold in this game right now. Like you're saying, though, it does feel like EG is feeling very happy, scaling up almost at a 2,000 gold lead. They're able to get a fair amount of farm onto their most important carries. Jojopyun has First Strike, has farmed up a good amount of that, actually, given that he's had melee matchups. He's at 236 gold right now for the first 15 minutes of the game without getting to a major team fight where you can see big gold spikes. If you're ever able to drop your gravity field, get a stun, then drop your Chaos Storm on top and suddenly hit 3 or 4 members with that, you can get an insane amount of gold influx even if you don't get a kill.
In terms of outer turrets getting taken, it's only the mid lane so far that's actually fallen. Second Rift Herald, of course, have been used as well, so we're just into a point of the game where it's all going to be about whoever just finds an outplay in terms of rotation, right? You got possibilities for pushing in the mid lane deep from EG, rotating your members up towards the top side or bot side, if that is what you're looking for. But on the opposite side, Mad Lions, Mark mentioned it earlier, they have an entrance towards that Drake themselves from the bot lane.
And this is a lot of what I thought was going to happen in this matchup as far as pacing goes. Teams are fairly evenly matched. You can kind of see where like the different skills and like lane matchups settle, but I think in general it was fairly close. And both these teams don't exactly play from ahead. They're kind of happy to play through the mid-game, nice and patient.
They were number 3 and 4 in gold difference at 15 as a team through play-ins thus far, very close together in that metric. EG was a little bit ahead, but you could argue maybe a little bit easier of a group as well, not having to go up against a DRX or RNG.
Okay, stop the silence, stop the quiet. We have a Drake coming up here. We have members gathered around it. So far, EG, 5 members already around. Mad Lions, bit more split apart from the map.
Spy's level 10, actually a level up on Elyoya somehow, but don't have time to delve into that mystery because we are indeed going to have a fight. Crab goes to Elyoya this time. So that free vision, that extra speed on the side of Mad, they've got the vision advantage right now. EG going to have to walk into them.
Trying to use the sapling map hacks to force Nisqy out of the flank. Inspired has flash to get over the wall if they want to commit for the dragon, but it's only the second one.
Nisqy also stole the Maokai ultimate, now going to zone them off the objective. Saw a lot of this yesterday as well, but that's more than enough to just kick them away.
And it's just the same as before. We have a bot lane, we can walk out, they just take the Drake, they leave, that's it.
When you started being like, hold up, dragon fight coming, I was like, I didn't want to curse it. I didn't even need to say it though. I could see the world where EG is not under pressure to force, so you just kind of stand there.
So that's why I'm under the opinion that if you are that team, just walk top lane. Take the top turret instead. You know that so many members of the enemy team is going to be around that Drake. You already have mid lane taken. Push in the mid lane, move up towards top side, because just looking at the Drake is not going to do too much.
No, you got to check it out as Mad Lions sniped their second dragon in the game. Could have had impact pushing up top side. I feel like there's a bit of a concern for me for the EG side where you have all these defensive tools and you keep waiting for Mad Lions to engage. But Mad Lions can also just stack objectives. Hold on, Impact in trouble.
They can also do this. Impact popping the wall to end it, but I don't think it's going to do all too much. Inspired there to save to David. Not today. Elyoya gets another.
And that's cheeky from the side of Mad Lions. You look at the vision currently invested by EG. It's very close to the mid lane, not so much towards the bottom side that Mad Lions have already gained so much control after they had that first bot lane turret. So Nisqy and Elyoya, the mid jungle duo that so often gets talked about from Mad Lions, finds a pick off.
Very heads-up play, too. I think Impact was assuming that they had reset after the Dragon situation, but instead they just camped that brush and waited for him. He was on Krugs. You know, Impact was not vastly overextended. That was just a very heads-up play by Mad Lions, who even up the kill score, still a little bit behind in goal, but have arguably the power advantage with the two Dragons in their back pocket as well right now.
Now, I think at least with the Draven that you can say is late game scaling if he ever gets a kill, or never gets a kill that is, these adoration stacks adds an execute to your ultimate.
Hey!
Right? So maybe that's Mad Lion's idea. We will never get a kill on the Draven and just wait for late game for the kill that matters.
Trying here for Armut, but I think, yeah, pretty rapidly shaking off that play. 2 for Mad Lions also incoming, so maybe now the counter dive.
Teleport available for Impact if he wants to join them under the turret. He's already moving up to the jungle.
Spot 1. Nisqy's here as well, though, and they probably suspect Kaiser is also there, so Kaori and Vulcan gonna have to fall back. Jojo instead gonna farm the gold on the tower, but Inspired face-checking, needed to throw the sapling, and it's gonna bait him in there. He's pretty tanky, but is he tanky enough? Vulcan finds the Devour off the avoid, and Impact's joined the fight here as well, but now onto Kaori, who's got all the items. The shield blow pumps, but he gets shut down. EG, the first big fight of the game, is gonna go to Mad Lions.
It looked good initially for EG. They were playing the map, they were getting turrets, but then they overextend their welcome. There's 5 members on the Lions on the top side, and they take a bad fight.
Jojopyun was trying to finish off the bot turret. TP not available means it's a 4v5 right as Baron spawns.
Look at Nisqy on the flank. He's straight under them on the minimap. They can go for a turn. He's got Tahm Kench ultimate. Not the best for the engage, but here they go.
Elyoya eating a lot of damage, but it might not matter if they can get the kill. Vulcan gonna pop the shield and try and stay alive. Impact with the turnaround play. Finds the Q, takes out Nisqy, and that's going to be no Baron for Mad.
All right, EG survived by the skin of their teeth. Mad Lions forced the turn. There's no way you can stand on that Baron at this point in the game. Your damage isn't really there. They have to go for the turn. Just was not clean. Jojopyun able to finish off Nisqy here. Just a great turn for Mad Lions, knowing, okay, we can't make the top dive happen, but they pick Inspired in the jungle. Nice redirect by Elyoya here, realizing, hey, Inspired's a tanky, annoying champion. Let's go on to Kaori instead.
It's also so easy for them to force the fight because 2 members of EGs are coming from the top side. 1 member is getting engaged on in the middle, and Impact is on the mid lane. So there's already just so many group members with saturated damage from Mad Lions that EG can't respond to.
Also, forcing the Tahm Kench onto Inspired on the Maokai. That is obviously not the target you want to be having to ult. There you want whoever is going to have the equalizer dropped on top of them, but because that got forced out, like I said, Elyoya and Armut combo together, get the kill there. Easy fight from that.
And the nice thing at the end of the day, Unforgiven also got a kill. Managed to catch in the stacks, went from shield bow to collector. Has an extra item now, so Draven playing catch up. We had 2 items for Kaori in the last fight. Would have made a difference if he didn't get absolutely smacked by Elyoya's Vi. But at the end of the day, EG fade off the Baron. Mad Lions ahead, but not by much. Gonna have to rely on these Drakes.
We're getting back to one of these Drake scenarios once again. This is gonna be curious to see if we're getting what we got before. Well, it's just get a Drake, walk away. Or if it's actually gonna be a fight around the objective this time around. 40 seconds, and both teams are around the area. 5 members of EG once again.
Small flash advantage for the side of Mad Lions. Both Elyoya, Unforgiven, and Armut all have theirs up. Only Jojo with his sums available. They can technically sack this one, but then you're sitting on soul point for the rest of the game. Does feel like eventually EG need to find a way to get Mad Lions off this objective. Once it spawns, Mad has done a very good job of kind of getting this standoff in the river that favors them.
Yeah, but now again, there's no vision on the back end. They spot them with the Scry's Bloom this time around, and not having a flank from Mad Lions halters their plan so much. You saw what it did before when Nisqy was able to steal away the Maokai ultimate and just throw that ultimate in from behind. This time around though, EG, they have a heads-up play, they have Impact to just be a living ward guarding the entrance.
Yeah, we have Jojo marking Armut, forcing him out from behind. Would have been very scary there if he was able to get in with an ultimate. Now have some group up, front-to-back team fight available. Mad going for the long wraparound. Elyoya gonna go over the red buff wall.
No impacts there, but actually maybe they're going to peel off. They know actually that they've isolated 2 from Mad. Evan Frost there. Nisqy's going to try and turn around, but Jojo lets the Chaos Storm go. Nisqy, he's just going to be cut to pieces. Vulcan with that kill credit.
And that's just such a heads-up play by EG. They know Mad loves to get that flank in, so this time around, they invest so many more members around it.
The big thing that they were missing there was any threat onto the dragon. They can see, because they're just staring each other down, Elyoya is not in the pit, so they can just totally sack dragon priority to hunt the members of Mad Lions in their own jungle, find that kill, and then that allows them to grab the dragon. Really big misstep there by Mad Lions.
And big for EG to pick up this objective as well with the Drake. They stopped the stacking coming through from Mad Lions, which was, let's be real, pretty much the only thing in terms of neutral objectives they had going now. So EG, this is where you look towards them and you want them to get a bigger presence of the map. But once again, as you said, Mark, no one's around the Drake starting it up, so it's so easy for EG to peel away here.
Yep, and then once you have the members of them grouped up, there's not a clear target. It's 4v5. It's just doomed for Mad Lions. Elyoya able to get out there. I will say, Jojo just burned his TP up to the top side. Don't love that play with how active Mad Lions have been about overloading sides of the map. You now can't use that to collapse just to greed out some farm because he couldn't even finish off the top turret. That's what he was hoping to do, I think. But Mad Lions covered that play. I think Nisqy matched TPs when he rezzed. And now neither mid laner has them, but Mad Lions have been very proactive about trying to find odd man fights.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can see it with the way they move around on the map. It's always a trio between Nisqy, Kaiser, and Elyoya, seeing if they can find anyone who's just out of position, if they can get some aggressive hoarding in. EG, though, they are trying to play the map. They are in the 1-3-1. You just saw Jojo up towards the top side, Impact down towards the bot side, keeping the shop in. And now with reset timers coming through from Mad Lions, there is small tempo time for EG to get a bit more aggressive with their own warding, making sure that they won't get caught off guard by the trio trying to find them.
This is a tense as hell first game, man. It's 4-4 in kills. Not a very bloody game, but the pace has felt fast because there's been so many moves. You can feel the stakes on the line here. Both teams trying to make it to group stage. Only once in history before has the major regions not qualified group play-ins. That was Mad Lions in 2020. There's an asterisk there that in 2017, HKA is the 3rd seed from the LMS, did not make it, but the LMS kind of dissolved afterwards. It became the PCS. They have 2 seeds now. So in terms of active current regions, it's only been done once before. The memes that will result if you drop this series are going to be endless.
Certainly so. Nisqy popping the ulti, a little bit of coverage, maybe it was running out. Just wanted to have some fun with it, but Jojo's still here. Very proactive in guarding this little outer turret, but does want to keep farming as much as he can.
No, you can see it as well. It was Elyoya, Nisqy, and Kaiser on the top side as well. They have pink wards in the brush. They want to come in from a lane gank. Like if Jojo oversteps himself just a little bit, they're looking to catch him off guard. And even EG is responding to this by themselves with their own mid-jungle support duo now roaming around, because this is what counteracts it, having that Tahm Kenc around. On that respect, though, you can see it in the bot lane as well now. Now, Mad Lions are swapping their attention bot side. EG now getting aggressive on the top side.
Gonna be able to grab this turret further away for Mad Lions to try and stack up. Maybe trying to find someone in the jungle, but no one's there. And obviously I have Impact hovering mid lane instead. This does give a bit of a barren window. There's no vision on any of the Mad Lions members, but they can posture around here. They're actually gonna start it up.
I like this here from EG, seeing what they can get out of it. Vulcan clearing the last bit of vision. Surprise Bloom pop. Does get some vision, as you can see. Those extra plants here on the Ocean Rift helping out. But EG actually got it pretty low here, but I imagine it's a turn angle.
Well, they could flip it, though I don't love the idea of that.
Kaiser may be caught there, actually going to go back in onto Jojopyun. That's a good target, but again, the crown keeping him so tanky. And Impact's going to capitalize there to give Jojo the kill.
Bit of a misread. Here comes the equalizer, though. Mad Lions, they want to turn.
Nisqy, a very spicy lad there on the Sylas, trying to make the play happen. He stole the ulti. Unforgiven! He's found the play, but Impact still standing tall in the team fight. Unforgiven low is going to get chased down by the rest of the tanks, and it's madness in the team fight. Both sides crush into each other, dive the enemy backlines, and 6 people are dead.
4 versus 5. Mad Lions managed to trade out of that fight, even if it was a good turn initially by EG. But Mad Lions, they team fight their way out of that situation.
Huge equalizer by Armut, forcing the Zhonyas out of Jojopyun. That was also the Tahm Kenc ultimate that he forced out, and that meant Kaori was served up on a silver platter. Initially, like you said, great play. Jojo, with the Crown the Shadow Queen, knows that he can go absolutely ham in this fight, just blow up and kill Kaiser just for losing his ult and his Mythic passive. But then here's the over chase a little bit where they step too far forward, Armut's TP completes, and this equalizer breaks the fight in half.
Yeah, completely. It was a bit of a delayed play from Mad Lions because they had to wait for the teleport to come through, but this is why I'll say good kiting from Unforgiven as well. Had the cleanse immediately and essentially brawling 3 guys while Nisqy and Elyoya can take care of the other backline, making it a 2 or 3 for 3 in the end of that fight.
Impact picking up a number of kills there, as well as Unforgiven and Elyoya This has turned into a scrappy game. I really like how Mad Lions have been playing these team fights. I was worried with the vibe that it would be a very telegraphed, obvious counter-engage for the side of EG where Tahm Kenc just devours their primary target. They've always done a good job of then redirecting onto Kaori. I feel bad for him that the other teammates keep getting the defensive spells baited, and then he gets left on an island.
Teleport from Nisqy right now. It's very deep, and there is saplings around to spot him, but here they go.
Ooh, carrying the target again. The Varus ulti is going to go, but now they're going to start the fight. Kaiser, they're low on the front side as Jojo goes cold, and Vulcan now trying to mark Elyoya, but Jojo has to get away. He takes down Leona with the fadeaway Chaos Storm. Kaori finds a shot down, and finally EG have found a clean angle in a team fight. Make it 3 as Nisqy falls to his old teammate Vulcan.
And that was the fight Mad Lions initiated. Mad Lions came through with the teleport from Nisqy. They overforced the fight, and these were the disengaged tools that EG had available to them.
I wonder if that was not checking the inventory of Jojopyun. I think he was on stopwatch in the previous fight. They cracked it. Hold on here. Unforgiven might be in trouble.
Hello? Unforgiven's fine. Red buff though goes over. Looks like EG want the Baron. They're giving up this potential dragon.
They do have impact going for the dragon,
Okay.
splitting their resources, getting a little greedy here. Armut's ult will come back available potentially before this Baron's done. Very short cooldown on Rumble's Equalizer.
Damage comes through, but there's no way they're gonna steal this one away. Smite is available for Inspired, and while the Equalizer is there, I'm not sure they're gonna miss that one.
Nope, all 5 end up with a Baron buff. It was a nice attempt by Mad Lions. Here comes the reset though. Can they sneak away the 3rd dragon here and get themselves onto Soul Point? EG is resetting, charging out of the bot lane base, but we might just get another fight right off the top.
Pretty fun one. We'll see. Elyoya going to start the Drake. Jojo was here already in mid lane. He's getting away pushing, but Impact's going to be here a little bit late. No chance at a steal. Looks like the fight's still going to happen. Impact literally dashes into the pit just to see the Drake go down. So Soul Point for Mad, but they are turning tail, not wanting to fight the recently bought EG.
Yeah, and this is only just a consolation prize as well for Mad Lions. Make no mistake, EG, they are the team with the Baron buff. There's not Mad Lions is going to be doing in terms of contesting the map. This is where EG is going to get aggressive. This is where they're going to take over your jungle. They're going to deny you jungle camps, and they're going to put you under a siege under the turret.
He's got 3 men mid. Jojo, Vulcan working the mid lane. They should be able to grab a handful of turrets here, catapult this gold lead even further ahead. They want to, I feel like, end the game before the next dragon situation comes up, because then you're risking flips for Soul Point. But it'll be very hard to completely crack the base of Mad Lions. They are a short-range composition. They don't have great waves there. You might be able to find an angle into it.
We're going to have to do a lot of work here, if that is the case, to end the game here. Rebel Baron Power Play is going to have to work overtime, but in the mid lane, it is Impact getting altered. Popping the wall ender, kiting away, but the damage is pretty decent. Now the counter-engaging is Inspired, dives on in, but he's not as tanky as he might like, and Vulcan actually burns the ultimate to keep him safe. Elyoya, though, did actually lose the 1v1. Unforgiven is a big piece of the carries. He's got almost 4 items. He's shredding through Impact, and Impact cannot 1v1 him.
That is some Draven kiting, but it's not enough to win you anything just yet, and they overreach so far to try and get in on the back line to find Impact. The problem is, there's not enough follow-up to really come through.
Man, Mad Lions are gutsy. That call is so dangerous. If you don't get that kill and EG get a slightly better turn and kill a couple of you, game over. But what it does get them, even though they don't find any kills, is it stalls out that EG push. Like I said, their wave clear is pretty terrible, and so your best bet to stop a Baroned up shove is actually pick a fight in kind of the neutral area of the map.
And it stopped so much, but it doesn't stop the pressure that EG will still have. They got that bot side turret. They can play on the top side now if they want to. Instead, you still have a very long mid lane to play up for. You still have a red side jungle to invade. See it even now. Mad Lions, they just want to try and contain whatever of their own jungle they can with vision, but surely this is where EG, they come around with their own pressure and start clearing it away.
Big eyes on Draven, though. I said before, he was almost 4 items when he was fighting Impact. He's now finished the rapid fire cannon. Jojo, though, also at 4 items, has been the primary damager, it feels like, in a lot of these fights, especially with Kaori so often being the eye of Elyoya's fire ulti. The Baron's about to dissipate. This game, once again, we're back to that same level of tension. Even though EG are up 5k, this game can flip very quickly.
I mean, Mad Lions comp always has that kind of one-shot potential, but they are so... Oh, you're deep now, Inspired.
We
be
have
able to get
followed your old European brethren. We are going to get a flash out of the deal, though, so Elyoya gets out, but not too much burnt there.
Yeah, but this is where they're trying to scout to see if anyone oversteps. In the end, though, it's Elyoya himself that is overstepping his boundaries. Rest of EG is towards that top side. 4 members on towards the tier 2 turret, trying to push in, but with no Baron up minions, they get equalized, and Jojo actually forced to use his teleport to defend the push coming through from Nisqy on the bot side.
Yeah, so where I was going with that was EG's comp is much sturdier in the sense that you have a true tank in Maokai available, able to actually get gold. Leona's a true tank, but obviously can't just match itemization, whereas Elyoya has gone slightly more bruiser with Sterix and Sunderer, and so then the Aatrox can also build more resist than the Rumble. You can just end up with this beefier team comp, and it makes it difficult for Mad Lions to start getting these assassinations late game. Jojopyun himself has like 3,000 HP on top of the Crown of the Shattered Queen. It does make it so Mad Lions engages will have to be very clean. They've been decent so far, but they have not really found an actual win in their fights. They've just been trades the entire time.
As Donnie's as well, so Jojo going to be tough to crack. Mythic finally done for Inspired, a little late, but hey, needed the other tank items more. Had the chains and the spirit visage. Impact's going to go ahead, catch that top wave. Minute 15 until the soul is up for Mad. EG will have to defend this dragon, but Baron not far behind it as far as major objectives spawning. These mid-game fights are going to be very spicy.
Yeah, but EG, they should be feeling so comfortable, not only because they lead that they currently have, but also just because of the itemization, the stylistic of what they had. Tahm, Kenc, Sonya's for Jojo, stopwatch as well coming through from Kaori, the resistance and stopwatch as well from Impact. Like, if a bite goes wrong for them, it's because either Mad Lions finds the best outplay they've seen in the history of League, or it's because they make a huge fumble.
Even talking about itemization, because there's so little resist on the side of Mad Lions, EG members can actually forego their pen items. So Jojopyun going for Lichbane here, skipping over what you normally see as a Void Staff in the game. Same, most likely for Kaori. You can see him working towards a GA, again, also foregoing an LDR or something. So very cool to see EG realizing, hey, our enemy team doesn't really have tanks. We don't need to punch through anyone.
Yeah, but also, if it doesn't come down to that 5v5 scenario I just explained, credit to Mad Lions for still playing the map. Like,
yeah,
they're in
absolutely.
a position where I really just feel like they should be getting this away. But they still are. They're finding chip damage here and there, and they're actually aggressive on the map when it should be EG's map.
This looks so risky. Elyoya is going to get spotted by a sapling. They were trying to dive the tier 2 potentially and take out Impact, but it looks like everyone's going to walk out of the situation.
Mad Lions, like you said, having good macro. The dragon just spawned, but they're overloading the top side of the map to make it difficult for EG to get that, because Mad Lions don't really want a face check 5v5 fight right now. They want this weird flip state in the jungle that where you catch someone in rotation trying to defend top or trying to face check a Baron. Here, Mad Lions can grab this turret and then fall back to the Baron, but EG does have that ward in the, I believe it's in the Pixel Brush, or maybe just outside, that's spotting this and knowing that they are not actually on top of the Baron.
Resets coming through as well, so this is just going to be where EG takes charge. If they have a heads-up play here, they actually have a potential to just start it up immediately, but I'm not sure if they're feeling themselves. Jojo, though.
Oh, Jojo's always feeling himself.
Gonna go down pretty quickly. We know Elyoya has gone back to base. They don't know that, but
TP
TP in from Nisqy again. Now the front side TP out of Mad.
It's gone. Oh, they peel off, actually. They could have burned that down, but they didn't have eyes on Elyoya.
They're
Oh,
going to turn on
no!
Nisqy. They've seen him.
Nisqy's his face checking. The flash is good, but now he's behind the EG tower. The ulti out of Unforgiven's really nice. Equalizer also good, but I think Nisqy is going to be left for dead. That Chaos Storm, pretty nice. Sonya's going to buy some time. Mad back to Baron, but Nisqy is going to die here.
Nisqy die. Mad Lions theft. Turn on towards the Baron. It's going down quickly. Inspired around, but I'm not sure if he can get in there.
He's going for it! Kidding me? Inspired! That's our MVP! Stealing that Baron away. A Mad Lions in a 5v4. Unforgiven left alone, gonna get blown up as Jojo is soloing out the enemy support, and that will break this game open.
Evil geniuses find the pick onto Nisqy. They get the collapse. Inspired rides the taxi with his W, flash in to steal it away. With the teleports, EG are trying to end the game.
They most certainly are. Death time is still 20 seconds for Nisqy. He's the shortest one around. Elyoya, you're good, but you're not that good. EG, they're coming in towards the base now. Baron up minions. Nexus Tower's falling.
A tense affair, but the first game looks like it's gonna break the way of EG. It's only Elyoya left to defend.
And Evil Geniuses will find their first win in Worlds matches against a European team. No one beats EG 10 times in a row.
If Mad Lions can win a best of 5, EG can beat an EU team. These are the miracles you will only experience at the World Championship.
What a way to kick it off, though. 1-0, but not definitely a bumpy ride for all the fans at home. This is going to be a fun series.
Yeah, this is not the kind of win that makes you feel, okay, we've now seen how this series is going to go. One team has downloaded the other. It was a very back and forth game. The Draven did not have